After one episode, I got high hopes for this summer. All right. High hopes for the summer. Summer looks like it's fun again. Summer looks like it's dramatic. Summer looks like we're going to see a lot of different emotions, and that's all coming from one episode.
Yeah, I completely I'm gonna change my tune. I was upset that we found out that Kyle and Amanda were separated before the season dropped because I didn't want to do another Paige and Craig thing where we just analyze, oh, that's where it went wrong. That's where it went wrong. Throw that out the window now. Where it went wrong is like 7, 8 years ago and then continued until where we are now. We don't have to do that. And also, it looks like so much fun trying to get to the bottom of this because we're already starting very frayed.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8:00.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by Summerhouse Magoots, one of my favorite Magoots. What's up, dude?
It's the summer of separations, and boy, oh boy, is the doomsday clock as close to midnight as possible,
Like
in the
1
real world
second.
and in Summer House. But yeah, so I wasn't sure what we were going to get from this. Obviously, we knew that we had a lot of new people. This seemed like a really long episode. I don't know if it was. I never
It was
checked.
54,
Was it like
yeah.
It was a 54, which you know what? That gives me a lot of hope because they tend to drag these things out when they don't have a lot of content. We're going to have so much content. I mean, we could just go through individually for every person in the house and just kind of leave the new people out for now until we kind of get some sort of read on them.
Sure.
But for everybody that's returning, it looks like a completely different summer for them. I mean, just obviously Kyle and Amanda. Carl is in a great position to have a great summer. He seems so much better. He seems way more like himself. And obviously,
Seems
I'm going to
normal.
give him, yeah, I'm going to give him last summer because he's coming off of all the Lindsay shit going on. He's coming off of what he really wants to do. You know, he's a lot more comfortable in his sobriety. He's figuring out who he wants to be as a person. And now he's ready to have fun. And he figured out what he can do to have fun. And I feel like that's kind of what we were going through with Carl for the last couple seasons. I'm stoked for Carl. It looks like he's in a great position to have a great summer.
Yeah, no, that's one of the biggest things I noticed. And, we keep in touch because we share the sobriety thing, obviously, and we check in every once in a while just to see how everything's going. And I texted him yesterday for a little check-in and just to say, like, hey, watch the premiere, look great. We got screeners, no big deal, guys. And yeah, dude, he seems like he's doing awesome.
We're recording the next day still, but
I know,
we had screeners, guys.
Yeah, we had screeners, didn't fucking matter. But yeah, he's genuinely seems like he's in a great place. Soft bars up and running, so he's busy with that. But like just the chatter that we had back and forth, he seems like he's really figured out who Carl is in this next phase of life. And like you said, I think that's what we've been watching over the past couple seasons. Obviously, the Lindsay fallout was inevitable, and that's going to take a while to recover from. Last year was more not so much damage control, but I think trying to figure out what and where he fit into the house after the Lindsay thing.
Right.
Obviously, them having a decent summer together last year was a big step forward. This year, her not being in the house, I don't think it really would have mattered if she was like a full timer. I think that they're in such a good place, doesn't really affect him like that. But you're right. Like, I think he's finally settled into, okay, this is my new life. This is who I am. I'm going to have fun. I know how to have fun. So I'm stoked to watch Carl, our boy Carl, have a nice season this year. But it's not just him. It's across the board, other than, the glaringly obvious Kyle and Amanda. Ciara is addressing certain things that may have held her back from having fun summers in the past. Like, she's leaning into it more. Jesse's going to forever be a big question mark. Who the fuck knows what he's going to do this season? But newbies coming in, they seem like they have great energy. Love that. KJ, love that dude. He seems like he's there to have fun. So just the vibes immediately are better in this episode. And last season wasn't bad by any means, but like the vibes are off the charts, and that's awesome.
Yeah, vibes are off the charts. The newbies came in pretty hot, even going into last year, and we talk about it a little bit, especially when it's Jesse centric. we watched Lexi and Bailey, R.I.P. Bailey, walk into that
Yeah.
house, and we're like, which is funny because we get another Bailey. So it's like,
I
hey,
know.
here's a better one.
I like
Here-
this
here's
Bailey
the,
way more.
Here's the better Bailey. Here's the Bailey that's actually going to immediately, I'm not even going to call it a trauma dump. She just told the truth about what her life is and like what she's been going through and where she is and how happy she is, which is all I want to hear. Like when I
Mhm.
hear her say, I'm so excited to have a great summer and this is the best way, because I truly do believe if you're in your late 20s, like that's kind of what this show is now. It used to be mid 20s. It's sort of late 20s, early 30s. And it's a lot of people who maybe they went through a long relationship. Maybe they were in a relationship just recently and they're trying to figure out who they want to be and what they want to do. But first, their first stop is the Hamptons to have a lot of fun. This is a great way to have fun. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to kind of explore new ventures. And I can kind of get that from what Bailey was saying. But last year was starkly different because there was so much unrest in the house. We weren't sure where West and Ciara were going to be. We've got Jesse, who's just causing a shitstorm because he's an annoying person. And then the rest of it was like, all right, where are we going to be with Lindsay and Carl? Lindsay's pregnant. She's going to announce to the whole group. Like there's a lot of uneasiness with the whole group that we've gotten to know over the years. This year, it's almost like full clean slate, except for Kyle and Amanda. But Kyle and Amanda, I'm actually happy to know that they broke up because it's like, okay, I don't want to sit here week to week and just overanalyze. Like, Amanda, what are you doing? Kyle, honestly, both of them. What are you guys doing in this relationship still?
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to look at it too, because obviously you're going to get a lot of people that are looking at either Amanda, like, Amanda, why are you still in this relationship? Amanda, you're so much better than this. Kyle, figure it the fuck out. Like, I get if you do think like that. For me, because I do think when you separate both of them, they're fine. Like, I have no problems with Kyle if that's what he wants to do. My problem with Kyle was, why are you bringing your wife through all of this when clearly this is what you want to do and she doesn't want you to do that? It's just not a good fit. And they figured that out. So I'm happy that they figured it out. And I want them both to succeed after all of this. That's kind of where I am. And watching this isn't going to bring me a ton of pleasure, but at the same time, it's better to know that they did ultimately separate and they are ultimately going to divorce because it's what's best for both of them. So I'm actually okay with all of that. The rest of the house just seems like they know their role. And the newbies, even walking into this house, they know their role. They're not coming on too strong. They're not immediately walking over to a Jesse or a West and saying, oh, wow, you're super hot. Like we didn't have any of those confessionals necessarily from either of them going in, like Bailey or Levi walking into their confessional talking about West being hot or Jesse being hot or whoever being hot. It's like, no, we don't have any of that, which I am always so against people in the house hooking up. I think it ruins everything. The whole vibe gets thrown off. It always fucks things up because it never ends well. So let's just stay away from that. How about we just have a good summer?
Yeah, good luck trying not to boink Ben.
Dude, I want to boink Ben. You fucking
Exactly.
kidding me?
That's my point. So, like,
Yeah.
I hear you on that.
I'm not in the house. I'm allowed to boink Ben. All right,
Yeah,
guys?
we can
I
boink Ben. Well, I guess I can't.
Eiffel
I'm married,
Tower.
so I can't boink Ben. But
Well, if Deb says it's okay.
I'll ask for her blessing to boink Ben. But
get a little bros Eiffel Tower, huh?
yeah, dude, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think with the Kyle Amanda stuff, you can obviously point to both sides of the street in certain ways. Now, I'm not placing the blame on Amanda as I am on Kyle. And I'll comment on and just certain. I'm not going to dive. There's no reason to
There's
like
no reason
really
to,
dissect
which is
things.
better for us. Yeah.
Right. And like I'll comment on certain things throughout this episode just because it's more irritating. Like, but there's no reason that we need to overanalyze. Like they got separated. It is what's best for both of them, especially Amanda. So I hope that she can sail off into the sunset, probably with Ben from the looks of things. But let's jump into this episode because it is a 54-minute guy, and there's a lot to discuss, a lot of good stuff to discuss. And you know, the first thing I noticed is we're getting a DJ nod in the first 10 seconds. 10 seconds in, where should I put my turntable? I don't know, bro. Leave it at the apartment.
Like even, and this is the thing too. He always brings a turntable. He's been bringing turntables to the house for 7 years now. I think I want to say it's not that big of a deal. Like now that you're a DJ, we have to mention it. And again, he may have actually mentioned it. This might be producing. This might be editing. He probably does mention it all the time. It does take up a shit ton of space. I think more what I'm taking away from all of this is Amanda's getting picked up by Ciara. Kyle's going to go pick up the boys. It's not like the end of the world if it wasn't for the commentary that goes along with it. Like if they just went their separate ways and they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to ride up with the girls, decompress a little bit, just kind of debrief about what everybody's been up to. Completely fine. Go ahead, Amanda. Same thing for you, Kyle. But then you go to their confessionals and Amanda's like, just, I don't want to
Yeah,
hear about it. I can't. It's like, God, you guys hate each other. What are we
I know.
doing?
I know. It's like they can't stand each other, and you get now we're at the passive aggressive part. That's the
Yeah.
end, right? You always
Yeah.
know when a couple gets to the point where every single thing irritates them. It's like we're watching the downfall. Finally, it's been 10 years in the making. But they're leaving the city, and as you said, we've got the dudes in one car, we got the ladies in the other car. We get to meet West and his new buddy KJ, who weirdly I thought I've seen this dude before, and turns out I have from skateboarding videos. I've
Yeah.
watched him skate. That trick that he went viral for. Kev sent me that video a while back of that
I
trick,
want to
so I was like, oh
say
shit,
he was in one of, and I might be completely wrong on this, but I feel like he was in one of those video games, not the Tony Hawk Pro Skaters, but in like Skate 2 or something like that along those
oh
lines. And
maybe,
those are just such great mindless video games to play,
oh they're
like to
so
stick
good.
around. Like I still have the Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and I just throw it on. Great soundtrack. Just sit back on your couch and decompress and play a little skate. Maybe you can play with KJ. And if you can't, why not just make him a character? I know
Make
you
your
can
own
create your
character.
own. Make him a character, take a picture of it. Maybe that's what I'll do, actually. I'll do that with my afternoon today since I'm
I'm
working from
gonna
home.
download Skate 3 now. Now that you said that, I forgot how like cathartic that game is. You just like hit a sick line. Oh man. Wow,
Yeah,
thank you. You just I'm stoked now. I'm super excited. I
exactly. Yeah,
told you
but like I was excited when KJ said that he was a skateboarder. I'm like, that fucking rocks.
it's
I mean,
awesome.
think about all the people that we have coming into this house every year. And I'm not even talking because I feel like the girls have much different jobs. Like the women that come into this house, they always have like someone in the same area, but then every once in a while you'll get like a pretty cool one. When the dudes come into the house, it's always, I'm a
Entrepreneur,
part-time model. I'm an
finance.
entrepreneur. I work in finance. I live in Manhattan. I summer in Miami. Basically, like what Jesse is when Jesse comes into the house.
Exactly.
That's like carbon copy of what we've been doing year after year after year. But now we've got KJ coming in, and yeah, he does a little modeling, but he's a skateboarder. That's way cooler than everything else.
Absolutely. Did I tell you when I was out in Cali, I bought a skateboard to bop around with?
A longboard?
No, no, I actually used to be pretty good at
I
it.
know you used to shred, but like,
I bought one and I had the time of my fucking life. I was sending Kev videos of me doing tricks
God,
and challenging him to skate.
I'm just
But
happy
yeah,
that you didn't get hurt.
dude, yeah, there's multiple times that I should have and I pulled it off. But it was totally worth it. It was awesome. I really enjoyed myself out there. But anyway, that's not the point. I agree
What
with
was on the
you.
bottom of your skateboard?
Baker, the old school Baker board. It was so cool. I left it
Oh,
with
they
Brooks.
Baker Mayfield first. I was like,
No, no,
why?
no, Baker skateboards. It's like this classic deck that I had when I was actually younger, and I bestowed it upon Brooks before I left. But anyway, I agree. I love that we're changing up the dynamic of who's coming into the house with a pro skateboarder. Like that's fucking awesome. So we're off to a great start. KJ seems like a solid dude. He's very West coded, right? Like you're getting similar vibes. We like West, probably gonna like KJ. And we get the new girls coming in. And you got Levi and you got Bailey. Levi is an event planner and Bailey is a host slash influencer. Immediately got great vibes from them. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what it was, but it wasn't like over the top. It was excited. There was energy. And I think what you said, they came in comfortable, but not overly comfortable. Like they're doing it right. They're asking questions, they're listening, they're not over the top and like, yeah, which I don't want to see from anybody, guy or girl. So like I think they came in perfectly and like the ride up was really nice. Just the banter was solid banter.
Yeah, it was actually good, like nice to meet you banter. Where
Yeah.
and look, with all of these shows, anytime there's like a share house involved or something along those lines, they always have a meet. They've always sat down for drinks at least once, just to at least like exchange numbers and talk about a couple different things. So this isn't the first time that they're meeting, but they also kind of know their place. And it's nice too that the two of them seem to have a pretty close knit friendship because you can lean on each other. I mean, it is sort of
Mhm.
what they tried to do last year Last year was an epic fail. And I don't even think
Brutal.
it's Lexi's fault anymore now that we're so removed from the whole thing. But Lexi was way too upfront, way too annoying, got involved with Jesse right away. That sucked. Bailey lied her ass off, said that she was single, wasn't single, then started talking trash on everybody in the house when she got back to the city. So
Yeah.
that didn't fucking work out. This seems like it's going to work out. It's almost like the same idea. They're like, yeah, well, we took a shot last year. Let's use the same formula, but let's vet a little bit better and make
Yeah.
sure that they're single. And look, there's nothing wrong with somebody in a relationship coming into the house. I do think it works better when they're single if they're new. But at the same time, like, it doesn't really matter as long as they have good vibes and they have each other to lean on. There's no weird issue within their friendship. Neither of them are coming on too strong and they're asking the right questions, like you said, where it's like you've got Amanda and Ciara to deal with who have known each other for years. They're the new bed bugs, or, they've been bed bugs, but they really are going to take it over without Paige this year. So you do kind of want to come in, I don't want to say timid, but along those lines, instead of like, wow, yeah, we're young, we're ready to party. And I think that also comes with the territory of hiring somebody who's like 29 and 30 years old versus having like a 23-year-old girl come into the house who's like, wow, the Hamptons in the summer, this is going to be lit. It's like, no, we don't want that energy. We want somebody who's a little bit more mellow, but can turn it up.
Yeah, and them both coming out of long relationships, obviously one much longer than the other,
Yeah.
also sets it up for like they know how the world works, but they're ready to throw caution to the wind for a summer, which is like right where you want to be. So loved meeting them. And as they're driving up, we have our first DJ conversation, which we're expecting a lot of this season from Amanda.
Mhm.
And Ciara brings it up, and she's like, look, how are we feeling about this whole thing? Obviously not 100% supportive. You get some chime-ins from the back seat of like, oh yeah, it sounds like a midlife crisis sort of thing. Like my dad did that. And it's like, oh, he was a DJ. No, he bought like 30 motorcycles, but it's all under the same umbrella of midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And the overlying sentiment, and this is where I get frustrated and annoyed, especially from like with Kyle. Everybody understands where the irritation's coming from. Us at home, the two new girls that just got in the car, Ciara, Amanda. It's like, yeah, you should be pissed. And you get other comments like, well, people are DJs. This was so good. People are DJs because they don't want to come home. Not you, not him. Like that's other DJs, but like that's what I think of, like everyone but Kyle.
But like
Anyway,
at the same time, does he want to come home? Is he doing the thing
No.
where he's got a lot of gigs pretty much every weekend over a 6-month period, and he's only been home like 3 times? Is he doing anything like that? Anything like
Yes.
that? Yeah, that's actually exactly what he's doing. That's the exact same thing. And then he has the audacity to come home and say, "Hey, why don't you want to connect with me?
Oh,
I'm only
get
home
them,
for a couple
dude.
of days."
Unbelievable. Like the stuff he
Oh, it's
says
so
later
funny.
trying to pull the sympathy card. I'm like, are you fucking like how dumb are you, dude? Like what are you
Yeah.
saying?
And that's the
I
thing about his sympathy card. I don't really understand what his motive is or like what
No,
his end
dude.
game is because again, like I'm still looking at this through the lens of it's better that you guys aren't together because you're not a good
Sure.
fit. You're not a good match. You haven't been a good match and you took a long time to figure that out. That's fine. But when you say things like that, where you're trying to garner sympathy, and he's been in this game for a very long time, and when he's walking around the house and he's by himself making comments, he's talking to the cameras, he's
He's
talking to the
talking to
audience.
us. Yeah.
He is not talking to himself. Like this man is not crazy. I do talk to myself every once in a while, but I'm a little crazy. He's not that crazy. He is talking to us and he's complaining about his wife to us. And I don't really understand, like, he's been in this game for so long. You've been online. You know what people think about this situation. We're trying to give the benefit of the doubt just because we know that you guys are separated, but you can't do things like this. You can be sad. You can be upset that your marriage is falling apart. Absolutely. But once you start blaming her for the way that you're feeling, that makes no sense. And that's never going to land anywhere.
No, and I think, just to get this out of the way so we don't have to harp on this shit all the time. For me, like, I agree with you. I'm glad that they're going their separate ways. I understand that sometimes people want different things. It's hard for me to not place blame. Obviously, the blame is on Kyle. I'm not saying that, but it's hard for me to like chalk it up to a wash because, when you get married, you have responsibilities to your partner. And Amanda's been very clear for a while now that the one thing we know for certain, because the kids thing obviously has kind of gone back and forth, up and down, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with Kyle. But at the same time, we know one thing for sure. What she really wants from you is just to slow the fuck down, come home, and spend time with her. Like, that's the underlying root of all of this shit. So, when you make these moves late in your life to be a DJ and do things like that, I get it makes you happy. Fine, whatever. But you have led her on a completely different path, and she is like screaming from the rooftops, I hate when you go out late, and then you start a career of going out late. Like,
Yeah.
that's where I lose any kind of like, oh, well, it's kind of a wash. I'm like, no, this is
But
fucking
not even
stupid.
that,
But
because we do also get the comparison to someone else who is a DJ. As soon as his set's
correct.
over, he goes home to his family. Like, he has a
Right.
wife and kids at home. When he's done his set, he goes home. And yes, I understand that DJ sets do go on long, but when Amanda echoes that and says, well, when his set's over, he hangs out with the owners, he hangs out with fans, he has a couple of drinks, then he's out until 4:30, and then comes home afterwards, and all he says is, this is my job. Like, it's really hard, because again, like, I do think that Kyle's fine. I think he's a nice guy, or he's a good dude. But in the marriage, in the grand scheme of things, you can't tell us, like, right to our faces, well, it's just she doesn't support what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When we have an opposite reaction to another guy who's coming home and doing all of those things. Now, I do think when he started the DJing career, it was an excuse to stay out late. It was an excuse to continue to party. But it doesn't mean that, yes, if he stays there and then goes home right after his set, that Amanda's still going to be happy. So I don't want to, like, blur those lines. I think she's upset that you started a DJ career and just did this anyway. Like, you shouldn't have done this in the first place. But it's just crazy to me. Like, all the spinning and all the mental gymnastics that he does to try to end up, like, blaming Amanda just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And it's definitely, again, not going to land with the audience.
Yeah, and maybe that still wouldn't make Amanda happy, but what that would tell Amanda is like, hey, I'm trying to meet in the middle. Like, I really
Right.
want to do this, but like, I'm making an effort to come home as soon as my set's done, to not be fucking wasted when I do, to not end up sleeping at a fan's house, quote unquote.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's what that little blurb did for me, was like, oh, so there at least is a way to do this to attempt to make it better. But I wanted to do that now, so like we don't have
Right.
to keep doing that. But anyway, let's get to the arrival. Everyone is showing up to the house, and we get Ciara's first little confessional, and she's very upfront. She's like, look, I know it's tough for me to sort out my big feelings. My goal this summer is to not eat West alive. And you know what? I'm working on being less really. I'm working on being less rigid. I'm working on being less of a bitch. Cool. Awesome. Like, I
Yeah.
love this mindset going into the summer. I'm not talking about the bitch part, but like, less rigidity, trying to just go with the flow a bit more. Like, that will be great. I think that's going to make for a much more fun household. And I think that's going to make for a much more fun summer for Ciara, because if there's one thing we know, when Ciara has a good time and Ciara lets loose, like, she's a blast. She's great for the show. She's funny. She's fun. That's awesome. So if we can get that Ciara for the bulk of the season, not saying that I don't want to see her go off, because she also is very good at clapping back at people, and I want to see that too. Finding that middle ground for her, I have high hopes for her this season. I think she's going to finally find that flow of right somewhere in the middle, which is going to make for great TV, especially if everyone in the house is vibing. So big hopes for her this season. I'm glad that she addressed that
There's
whole thing.
I've got a weird take on Ciara. I actually think that Paige was holding her back.
Me too.
Oh,
Wait
you
a
do think
minute.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Not, but
so
like,
I do
not, this, I want to tread lightly because I love Paige. This isn't like a knock on
I do.
Paige.
I do love Paige, and I do think, like, at times her presence is going to be sorely missed. I would love it if she has a cameo here and there, or
Same.
probably more likely she'll be in the city, like, for a cameo here and there. But I do think, in a weird way, Paige's presence was holding Ciara back, because it was a comfortability thing where, well, I always have Paige to kind of, like, lay next to in the bed and just bounce ideas off of. And if I really want to, like, hate West, I can bounce that off of her, and just kind of keep perpetuating the same issues that I have over and over again without coming out of my shell to the rest of the group. But when Paige isn't there, yeah, you have Amanda, but Amanda and Ciara aren't as close as Paige and Ciara were. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. It's going to be a lot more comfortable kind of as the season goes on. I'm sure as Amanda's kind of bouncing her ideas of Kyle off of Ciara. But at the same time, without Paige being there, you don't have that comfort person, which is a bad thing in some senses. But I think in this house, it's a really good thing because it'll cause you to go to the group. You'll find different comfort people throughout the group. It's not going to be the same as Paige, but you'll be able to talk and interact with everybody else instead of just laying in bed talking to Paige the whole time. We used to be hugely against the bed bugs because I thought it was boring as shit. Yeah, they had some good one-liners here and there, but like get out there and mix it up. Don't go to bed every night. I want you guys to go out. I know we don't get to see you guys going out anymore, but it's still nice to see you guys vibing with the whole group and not just going to bed at 9 p.m. So I do think that this is going to cause Ciara to get out of her shell a little bit more, make some more friendships, make some more relationships with other people in the house. I think she's finally learned her lesson not to hook up with people in the house. But also with the West thing with Ciara,
That's different.
I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, all right, enough. You had your season last year where you hated West. If West is still over here, like, yeah, I don't really know where Ciara and I are going to lie, but I'm going to tread lightly. I'm going to figure it out and try to make her laugh every once in a while. That's okay. Like, that's completely fine. Let's not forget exactly what West did to Ciara when he went on his press tour. She's still allowed to be pissed at him. She's still allowed to not trust him. That's completely fine. She's not obviously going to get into a relationship. I know a lot of people are now shipping them again. I think that's stupid. But at the very least, let's build a friendship this summer. You're shipping them? I just build a friendship this summer.
I didn't say ship. I didn't say ship.
You smiled.
I made a face because
you grinned.
It's somewhere in the middle. And I'll talk about that in a sec because I'm going to forget. Just to go back to the Paige thing, I don't even know if it's like a Paige problem, like if it matters who the person was. I think it's more so the dynamic that was set up by the bed bugs, because that their role was to discuss what's going on in the house. Their role is to analyze things and not be out and about with everyone else. So everyone else is having fun, not thinking too far into certain things. They're sitting at home and they're dissecting everything going on in this house. So I think that just is going to bring you back to a lot of the issues going on in the house. So it just makes it hard for them to come out of their shell. So that's kind of what I think. It's more of a dynamic problem than it was like a specific Paige problem, but still agree with you. And then as far as those two, I'm not shipping a relationship. It's very, very difficult to not enjoy the chemistry that those two have together. Like when they're together, like it's just hard to not be like, damn, they really would make a great couple. That's where I'm at. It's not like I'm rooting for it, but it's hard to root against it.
Yeah, I'm just of the thinking that ship has completely sailed, and knowing and just the way that Ciara has been talking about it and understanding the situation, the ship has sailed. Like you burnt her very, very massively. So that's already done. The best you can hope for is a good close friendship because you guys are going to be on the same show. You live in the same city. That's what I want the most for. Like I'm shipping a friendship. I'm not shipping a relationship. I think that's completely gone.
Yeah, no, and I get where you're coming from, but the Jesse Ciara thing, obviously we watched last year as he was wildly inappropriate when he was dating Lexi, that whole thing with them. My big thing with Jesse is like, I just don't understand when it comes to him and his behavior and how it's received versus how it's other people are received. Like, I don't get it, because it's not that he's not being a fuck boy. It's not that he's not doing a lot of the same things that a lot of other people get in trouble for. We watched him pretty much get let off the hook last year by the bed bugs for what was happening with Lexi, which is still crazy to me. So that's where I get confused. I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, I don't really care. Like, that's just clearly what the dynamic is with this dude. So it is what it is. But trying to wrap my head around it is very confusing. Like, I don't totally get it.
Yeah, if I had to guess, and this is probably best case scenario, because like Jesse is a very fun guy. He can be an incredibly fun guy.
Yeah, I see that.
He doesn't start hitting, which look, and that was kind of his MO leading into when he got there. He immediately started hitting on Paige. Last year, immediately started hitting on Lexi. We all know how that went. He didn't do it to the newbies this time. So I've got a little bit more hope at least. And I feel like his path is like that first season was great. He just blended in perfectly. Everybody seemed to like him. Every time that he was around and in the groups, it was always a fun time. second season was absolutely terrible. And I know that a lot of people online, especially with, his fucking singing career, that he's just putting it on us every goddamn day. He's kind of tapered off a little bit from that. I do think that he knows how it was received last year. I do think that at the end of the day, he understands that his image was tarnished during last season. Even though it wasn't tarnished within the house, the fans all looked at him like, dude, you're gross. Like everybody got the ick collectively.
Yeah.
So I do think that he knows that and wants to bounce back. And if he wants to bounce back, he's going to take a step back this year. He's just going to be lighthearted and fun. He might do the thing that West was doing last year where like, yeah, we would go out and then Jesse wouldn't come home with the group because he would go back with a girl. Like he would go back to their house in the Hamptons, then come back the next morning and debrief. I don't think he's going to do that, especially.
I was going to say, you're giving him a lot of credit.
I am, but it's not even necessarily credit. I just think that like he's a smart guy and he knows how the public is receiving him.
I agree.
So I don't think he wants to further push that agenda. I think he wants to get back to where he was in season 1 when people really liked him. And if he has, I'm not going to compare him to West because West had such a great bounce back after last year. But I think he understands what he has to do and what his role in the house has to be likable. And he'll do anything in his power to make sure that happens.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can also see it taking a sharp left somewhere down the road, but
I just don't want to spend the whole season bitching about Jesse.
No, dude, me either.
Because he can be fucking annoying.
Yeah, I don't want to either. Like, that's not what I'm looking forward to this season. Yeah. So hopefully you're right. But we're in the kitchen. We're getting ready for dinner, and tensions are still high between Amanda. Like, everything is just rubbing each other the wrong way, and they're making comments in front of everybody else. It's just, and Kyle makes a blowjob joke about when the newbies were born, and I didn't like that. That made me uncomfortable and sad. But anyway, let's get
also like, what is it? Is he 40? Just 40? 41?
I don't know. Is he 40? I thought he's like 42. Did he turn 40 last year? He's 43.
I think he's 43. Okay, yeah. So let's do the math on this one real quick. Let's just,
okay, 1995.
Just for my own fucking well-being. 1995, he would have been 12.
Oh.
No, he would have been 11 because this was filmed last summer. And if his birthday, I don't know when the fuck his birthday. Oh no, his birthday's during the summer. He was 10 years old. Like, fuck off. Get out of here.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's just a bad joke. It doesn't make
I didn't like
sense.
I didn't like it. Maybe uncomfortable. And like they laughed it off.
Chicks. Look at this. I'm a DJ now. I'm still getting chicks. I haven't flirted with a girl in like 6 months for the first time. You've been married for 4 years. Shut up.
Unfucking real. It's oh my God. Anyway, let's get to dinner. And KJ is fitting in well with everybody. Him and Ciara are vibing. I don't mean like that. It just seems like they're friendly. I'm with you. I don't want any in-house relationships this season. No. I want everyone to be going outside of the house, please, for the love of God.
Unless it's the real thing. I don't want to immediately negate love. Like, love is love. Let love be. Either. But if it's, and like, I have to be the final decision maker.
Oh,
if I see something and I like it and I think it'll last, I will root for it. If it immediately strikes me as just a summer fling that's going to ruin the house, I will go on a tirade. So
Shooter ships.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll do a segment.
That's the segment. Does Shooter ship? I like that. Okay. We'll check it every week.
Like a live Q&A. We'll just have people like write in, does Shooter ship? And then give me 2 people. And the answer is going to be no for almost all of them.
They should just send in like their actual partners, like just real life situations. And be like, does Shooter ship? Wait, there's something here. There's something here. Might have to revisit this one, write it down in the old notebook. But anyway, Cowboy Carl announces to the whole table, like, hey, we got a lot of single people here. Like, everybody's single in this house except for the married couple, which, lo and behold, no wedding rings because Kyle lost his. Like, if this is not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Amanda's like, Kyle lost his.
He lost his and he didn't get a tattoo on his ring finger. What are we doing?
Which is good, by the way. That would have guaranteed divorce right then and there. But like, she's not putting on her ring until Kyle buys a new ring. And this is almost like an embodiment of their relationship. Kyle is not going to make the effort to go buy a ring, therefore affecting Amanda and Amanda not wanting to wear her ring. This is literally a microcosm of their entire relationship.
Yeah, but I want to keep playing this mind game. What if we didn't know that they were separated? Like, I would be so
Oh, the
fucking pissed
hindsight?
off. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, if they didn't give us that news before the season dropped and we watched that scene, I would be livid that we had to talk about it. Now it's like kind of funny. It's like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah,
really, what are we doing here?
Yeah, now you're right. It gives like this dark humor to the whole situation where we know where this is
Yeah.
going. So it's like we
It
get to just
alleviates a
watch
lot
it.
of stress. Not that, like, I don't know. Maybe stress isn't the right word. I do get kind of stressed out when we watch these shows. especially for-
Apprehension.
Yeah. We'll call it that.
Yeah, sure, why not? But we get to find out about Levi and Bailey's past relationships. Levi got out of a 12-year relationship 2 years ago. So she dated a dude from when she was 15 on. So she's ready for some new life experiences. She has no other dating experience. She's ready to hit the ground running in the Hamptons with this crew, which is arguably one of the better ways to do it. You're going to have fun. And then Bailey is getting out of a 2-year, I believe, toxic relationship where she was very publicly broken up with at a Sweet Green. And this story, the way she tells it, I agree with you. This was perfect. It wasn't like trauma dumping. I think she was just telling the truth and didn't realize the emotions that came with it and was like, oh, now I'm crying because she got done a workout class. They lived above a Sweet Green, I believe, or next to the Sweet Green. So she goes to the Sweet Green to get her post-workout meal, even thinks of her boy, and she's like, I'll also take that super expensive salmon salad. My boyfriend loves that. He'll be here in 5 minutes. Boyfriend walks in, drops the keys on the table, says, I'm leaving, points outside to all of his bags packed.
I think that's the
just leaves.
craziest part. That's the craziest part of this entire
Agreed.
story. You live in New York City. You left all of your bags packed outside of a Sweet Green and none of it was taken? I mean,
I hope
obviously
it
this guy
was.
deserved. I really do hope that like all of his expensive shit was in a duffel bag on top of his suitcase and a guy just walked by and grabbed it and just walked away.
Same.
Like that's now that homeless man is now set up. It might not even be a homeless man knowing New York. It's probably just a random guy who actually makes more money than him.
For
It's
the
like,
record,
fuck
that
yeah,
would happen in Philly
free shit.
too.
Oh yeah. I'm not like ragging on New York. That would happen in Philly. It would be very similar. But I think that's the craziest part. And I agree with you. I think that as she's telling this story, because Levi just went through talking about her 12-year relationship, she didn't really get like in depth in the feelings of it. She just kind of had a normal reaction. Like, yeah, you know, I don't really know. Like I've dated necessarily. I've been single for 2 years, trying to figure things out, where I am, who I am after my relationship, all very normal things.
Yep.
And Bailey's like, hey, yeah, I was also in a relationship, really toxic. Let me tell you a story about how we broke up. And I don't think that like, and this isn't like a knock on her, but maybe she hasn't really unpacked all of those feelings.
That's what I think.
Like,
and I think
I don't think that she's gone to therapy since then, or maybe she did, but now it was just like this was a runaway train that she just couldn't get ahead of. She's like, yeah, he just pointed to his bags. He's like, I'm out of here. And he just up and left. He actually moved to LA that afternoon. What a douchebag to go from fucking New York City to LA in an absolute bag of dicks that guy is. And she starts crying, and everyone's like, hey, whoa. Everybody has cried in this house hysterically, especially Kyle, by the way. He has cried at this table, like specifically, but especially Kyle. He cries all over this fucking house. You see that sunroom over there that we can never see? He sleeps in it most nights and he cries a lot by himself over there. If you ever get into his car, there's tissues in there for him crying. So don't worry about you crying here. I think it actually was a nice moment because it's like, oh shit, are we getting like an overly emotional person in this house? Like, I don't know if we need that. It's not. It's really not. And I like that Carl's leading that too, because Carl takes it upon himself. He's the leader of the house. I mean, he knows who he is now. He's confident in his own person.
Yeah.
And he's able to just kind of stop everything and be like, look, it's not a big deal. We're not going to judge you because you cried. We've all fucking cried here. Don't worry about it. We got your back. You're going to have a great summer. And that's all she needed. And I actually like that because it's a little moment of not only like humanity, but also just kind of showing who she is and showing that she's warming up and she's comfortable enough to at least share that. So that's good.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. It does point out this seeming shift in the house where Carl is in one episode inadvertently stepping into that role because Kyle is not that person anymore, right? Especially with everything going on.
He's the leader of like partying and shit, but like
he's the event planner.
Yeah, which is funny because that's what Levi is. But for Kyle, like he's going to be the leader of like going out and partying and having fun. But there's going to be so much emotional baggage with him this year where you're going to want to go out with him. And then like 30, 45 minutes in, he's just going to talk your ear off about his marital problems. It's like, I don't
Exactly.
want to deal with that.
No, like I don't want to do this again, Kyle. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Why are you crying? But
Yeah.
speaking of Kyle, we start talking about the DJ career. And Amanda brings it up. She's like, well, actually, I wanted to start my own business. And he got so mad that he decided to be a DJ despite me. Roll the tape.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you said, Kyle. Like, is that the reason that you did it? Probably not the only reason. No, but there is footage of you saying that. And then he's trying to do the thing where he makes it sound legitimate. And he's trying to like, yeah, well, name aside, it's actually been a blast and really cool to merge Loverboy with this. Stop. Okay. Like, here's my biggest issue with the DJ thing. All right. Just like, regardless of completely disregarding all your wife's feelings, hopes, and dreams, just lean into it at this point. Like, if this is what you're doing, don't give me the song and dance of trying to make it a righteous venture. Okay. You want to be a DJ? Go be a DJ. Don't tell me it's for Loverboy. Don't tell me it's for your business model. Don't tell me all these stupid things. Just come out and say, look, I fucking love DJing. I love to party. I'm having a blast doing this. Period.
It's my big problem with it is if it was its own thing, if you weren't married to Amanda, it would make a lot of sense. Like, yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I've always been passionate about music and being a DJ in this house. I figured, with my platform on Summer House, I decided to be a DJ. And yeah, it's great that I can merge Loverboy and sell my product while also DJing and doing something that I really love and I'm passionate about. That in itself is completely and utterly fine. I get all of that. And it makes so much sense. It makes all the sense in the world. But you're trying to do this in a way of, and he proves my point like immediately after this, you're trying to like neg Amanda in saying she doesn't support my business. She doesn't understand that I'm able to merge all of these things. Like, this is my life. This is my livelihood. And I found a way that I can create some extra revenue while also creating a little bit more awareness of my product and bouncing around and doing all of these things. But he's like looking at Amanda the whole time. Like, Amanda's heard this whole song and dance. She heard the song and dance before you became a DJ. You just decided to up and do it, even though she was against it. So don't tell Amanda. Again, if it was by itself, we'd be fine with it. Like, it wouldn't really matter to any of us. But you're trying to prove to Amanda still that this is why you're doing this. And it makes complete logical sense. And she needs to get on board, because at this point, she's not on board. And she could not be more out at this point either. And it just proves my point immediately, because she's talking to Ciara and he leans down. He's like, and she's not even fucking listening to me. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Wife never asked me questions and now she's just not listening. Like, no, because she's heard this. We've heard this, dude. Like, we've all heard it. So no, she's not really listening to you. And again, the implication that she hasn't been supportive is nuts. Like, she's put up with so much stupid shit over the years. Loverboy. You literally told her on a boat, fuck your hopes and dreams. We're doing Loverboy. And she's still there. Like, so the route he's taking, and it's for the cameras, it's for us at home. He's still trying to garner that sympathy, which is just nuts to me. Instead of just fucking own it, dude. Own it, and we'll probably talk about it less. I still think it's dumb, but at the same time, like, credit where credit's due. Every show he's played that I've seen is packed. So I'll give him that. Like, you know what I mean?
Here's the other thing. In the grand scheme of things on Bravo, it's not that dumb. It's not the dumbest thing that we've heard one of like a housewife or somebody else on a different show like Southern Charm doing. Like, it's really like middle of the pack. It makes sense when you just look at it in a bottle. It's like, okay, cool. That makes total sense. It's in line with what your actual work is. It's in line with what your livelihood is. That makes total sense to me. I don't even really think it's dumb. It's just dumb the way that you're treating your marriage.
Yeah, exactly. And just like the inability to just fucking say, this is what I want to do and I enjoy it. Just do that, period. But anyway, the whole crew's going out minus Ciara and Amanda. This gave me a moment of pause until a little bit later when Ciara has a confessional and we see her at the party, because I'm like, oh no, we're not going out at all this year with these two. And the house is shifting back to a younger going out house. Like that's what we're doing now. And I love that. That's where we've wanted to get back to. The whole crowd in the past, it was, oh shit, is anybody going to go out? I think this season it's going to be, oh, who's not going out and why? So I love
Yeah.
that we're making that move back to having fun. I got nervous here because I'm like, you can't be the only two staying in every night. That's going to be a huge bummer. Ciara addresses it later. She's like, I am going to make a conscious effort to go out more. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
This one I'm actually giving them a pass on because I know that first day is a
Sure.
bore. I mean, there's so much going on. You're meeting new people. You get there at like noon. It's 4th of July weekend. You probably just sat in traffic on the way to the Hamptons for like 6 hours, even though it's like a 2-hour drive. So I get all of that. I'm going to give you a pass on the first night. And the second day, obviously, there's a party. If you go out the second day, maybe you don't. Who cares? It's the 4th of July. I just don't want to see it the whole summer. Like Amanda kind of makes sense, but I think Amanda even is going to get to the point where it's like, all right, I can't just sit here and wallow in my self-pity because my marriage is failing. I need to go out and have some fun. And then Ciara will team up and go out. So I don't really have many issues right now.
No, it's
but
just
it's
a
something to
moment of
keep an eye
pause.
on.
There's
Yep.
just
No,
a
I
moment
agree
of
with you.
pause.
I agree with
That's
you.
all. But the bedbug crew is going to be interesting. And this actually is something I'm kind of interested in, is the rotating bed bugs, because we're going to have people popping in to try to fill that role of Paige. Not that anyone's going to fill that role, but just to, like, we see West vying for a spot in there. Jesse's obviously going to be the first one to crawl in that bed, but that creates a new situation of the bed bugs. Maybe this will be more of like a confessional area where people go in there to talk about their shit with Ciara and Amanda. Like that could be a new thing, which would be kind of funny if it's like shit's going on. It's like, well, go see Ciara and Amanda and talk about it, and like everyone
Like the
takes turns.
Jersey Shore confessional booth.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the new Jersey Shore confessional booth.
I have wanted one of those for season after season. Now, I think we talked about that the first summer house.
It was
that we
after
covered.
Martha's Vineyard, because we were like,
Oh, it
wow,
was
this
Martha's
is great,
Vineyard.
because they had the
Yeah.
live confessional room.
And then they never used it because we talked to Preston after that. And he's like, yeah, we kind of just stopped using that thing
Yeah.
because they weren't really pressing us to do that. That should be a mainstay in this house.
Absolutely.
I mean, we didn't even talk about how they fixed the door. I don't know who the fuck those people are that rent that house out, but the fact that they fixed that door pisses me off.
Me too.
Obviously, beyond belief. But they also should be implementing a little confessional booth. Like, why not? There's rooms in that house that we don't see. There's probably a basement in that house that we've never seen.
We've
Just
never
throw
seen that
something down
sunroom
there.
that Kyle sleeps in.
No, we can only see it from like a cross angle, which
Yep.
now I have to wonder what's going on in that sunroom. And obviously, there's a pool house too. I know that you want some
We don't
space
go in
to
the
get
pool
away
house.
from the cameras for a little bit. You can leave the pool house where it is. I don't need to know what's going on in that pool house.
Nope.
But everything else, like just throw a little confessional booth in there. Come on now.
I agree. I think it adds such a fun layer to the show. But before we go out, everyone's getting ready, and here's that scene you were talking about. It's Kyle, quote unquote, talking to himself. It's crazy. It's just fucking crazy, because he's like, every summer Amanda just makes me feel like I don't exist, that she doesn't fuck with me. Brother, you make her feel that way every summer because she asks you specific things and you directly don't do them, which would make a person feel unseen. And the fact that you're talking to us right now like this, and then you're going to say the line, I'm literally DJing everywhere, and I've only spent about 1.5 weekends in the city. I was hoping to rekindle things with my wife. This is discouraging. Dude, you're saying this is all on your timeline. You made the choice to not be home for the entire year on the weekends. That's not her problem. That's your problem. You decided to do that. So now you cannot point at her on the first night of the summer when she's with people she actually likes and say, you're not making an effort, and that makes me sad. Where has your effort been up until this point? But now you're on camera talking to us at home, and you're going to try to make us think that Amanda's not pouring effort into this? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. I mean, you almost should have just like gone into your confessional and said, yeah, I've been traveling a lot and doing this and that and whatever. But like every time I'm home, I'm always trying to make an effort. And Amanda kept saying, well, the good thing is, at least during the summer, you won't be able to bop around and do too much DJing. So we can really reconnect. And the first weekend that we're here, she immediately tries to not reconnect. That's probably the way to do it, especially if you know that your marriage is completely falling by the wayside and you're probably going to end up breaking up. just start lying your ass off. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, just start presenting all of this false information and be like, I'm trying. And she said that she would try during the summer, and immediately she's not trying. If you're just trying to garner some sympathy, like, don't tell us the truth, because when
No.
you tell us the truth, we're going to look at you like you're fucking crazy.
I was blown away. I was like, even for you, this is a stretch, bud.
Yeah. It's like, how do you not realize the words coming out of your mouth and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go down this path? Like, that's delusion at its finest.
I
Or
know.
worst, I guess.
I know. It's crazy work. But Amanda and Ciara are talking about the same thing. And Ciara's just checking in. And obviously we know, and it's interesting. And I think she has a lot of respect for Amanda and the situation, because when it comes to her specifically, she does bite her tongue a lot. Like, she has a lot of opinions on Kyle, a lot of opinions on their relationship, but she doesn't ever force it. And I think that's because she knows how tough it is, and she doesn't want to add to the situation. So I respect that.
Yeah.
But she does ask her about it in this moment. She's like, well, he gets on my nerves. And that's when Ciara drops well, I was with my friends the other night, and they have one of their husbands is a DJ. He doesn't drink. He gets done and he goes home, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Which brings up another rumor. This is not the rumor which is not a rumor, by the way. It's substantiated that he slept at a fan's house and
Well, that's so I do think, just based off of the appearance of the scene, I think that's going to be at the end of the season. I
do
think that's going to
too.
be very similar to Lindsay and Carl breaking up. It's going to be very similar to Paige and Craig breaking up. It's going to be something that was filmed in like early September after the summer. They picked up cameras. They were already filming in the city, and then they just kind of go over there, and they're in Lindsay's apartment talking about it. So anyone who thinks that we're going to get that well before, I don't think so. Just, I'm trying to remember exactly when we found that out, when there was rumors flying around, but I do
was
think it
later.
was the end of the summer. Yeah, I think it's like late August, early September at best.
Yeah, because I think we talked about it, like, as far as wrapping the show. I think it was close to that or after that. But so this is a different one. And, listening to her talk about it now is interesting. And by now, I mean at the place she's at in her life and where she's at with Kyle, because she's now at the point of indifference. And she even says it. She's like, that's not good. Like, it cannot be good that, things like this used to have me calling him, crying, trying to figure out where he is, being so upset. And now I hear it and it just kind of rolls off my shoulder. That has to be bad. And like, the self-awareness I appreciate, but you're really, in one episode, we're just watching this house of cards like fall one card at a time. And we've watched this for 45 minutes now. So not a great outlook for these two, but I am glad that she has the self-awareness factor where she's seeing the signs coming up. And I hope that that's kind of what gave her the push, because she should have done this a long time ago. And when I read comments and people are like, not having as much sympathy for, like, I get what they're saying. Like, this is who he's been for so long. Like, did you expect something different? So I'm just glad that something clicked that got her to the point where she's like, fuck this. I can't do this anymore, for both of their sakes. Right. Like, cause again, I don't hate Kyle. I don't, despite how I talk about him a lot. Like, I don't hate him. They just,
not
they
at
needed
all.
to go their separate ways for a while.
It's sort of like we weren't rooting for them to get a divorce. We were just rooting for Amanda to be happy. Like, it's sort of in the same realm as that.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. But let's go out. And great night from what we saw. We just get phone clips now. We're not allowed to go into the bars in the Hamptons, which stinks.
Yeah.
But
again, I still do, like, you can go to the bars that you want to. There's a chance that every single bar in the Hamptons doesn't allow cameras anymore.
I think it's a Hamptons like county thing. I think that it was
but like, we've been
involved
at day clubs that they go to, and again, like, maybe it's up in Montauk. I don't give a fuck if they're in the Hamptons anymore. I know it's a bit of a bitch to drive all the way to Montauk, but if you can't film while you're out, if you can't film at these bars, but you can film at other bars in the area, they should have to go to those fucking bars. Like, I'm sorry, this is your job.
At least a couple times. Like,
like I'm fine if you guys go to one bar for like an hour and we get some filming going on there where you guys are conversing and talking. But I know that, like, what's going on now, and it's sort of creating a precedent where, you can do all the things that you want in the house, but, like, you don't get a little too drunk. You kind of just keep a good buzz going all day. You're going to be filmed the whole time. And then when you go out, you can really get after it. That's the shit that I want to see, because that's when all of the messy stuff starts coming out. Not that I want them to be necessarily messy, but I want them to have a lot of fun and I want to watch the fun. So they should have to go to a bar that allows it. And if there is no bar in Hampton County, go to a fucking different bar outside of Hampton County. I don't care. This is your job.
Yeah, I agree, because we just want to see that, and that is where certain
Yeah.
storylines start. Some
Mhm.
weird night out in the Hamptons and some stupid shit happens, or somebody makes out with somebody they're not supposed to. I don't know.
Yep.
I
Or
want to see
like
that stuff.
you could also just kind of fill in the gaps there and just have them go out in the city, because you can film everywhere in the city.
That's true, but I do have one party foul. I'm gonna throw the flag, and I wonder if you can pick up on it. One
While
moment while they were out that was
while
filmed.
they were out, no, because I completely disassociate with the phone cameras.
KJ doing push-ups in public. I gotta
Oh,
flag him.
Jesus
Gotta throw the
Christ,
flag.
dude.
Yeah, I gotta throw the flag. Let's
I
not.
didn't see that.
Yeah, that's one of my big pet peeves when dudes do
Mm.
that at parties. I think
It's sort of it's
it's
the same thing we talked about with VPR a couple of weeks ago. Like, leave your fucking shirt on.
yeah, right. That
Enough.
too.
We're not doing this.
Don't pop
Yeah.
off the shirt. There's just no
Yep.
reason to. We get it. You got abs. It's great. Good for you. But like, don't pop a top
We're gonna
unless
see
the
enough
moment
of
calls
your
for it.
abs at the pool out back of your house. Like,
Right.
cool.
If you want
Congratulations
to
on a
pop
great pod.
buttons, you know
Oh,
what I'm
dude,
saying?
pop all the
But
buttons you want.
that's an indicator of the night you're having. We talk about this all the time. You
Oh,
start
yeah. I
dropping
used to do that.
buttons on a button down, that just
Yep.
tells people how loose you're getting, right? And if you pop
I
that
don't wear
final
button
button,
downs anymore, but when I did wear button downs in the summer, that was huge. Every
Yeah.
summer bar, yeah, you drop it down as your night continues. Yeah, am I having a good night? Shirt's completely open. Am I getting kicked
bang,
out of the bar? Shirt probably
shirt's
pulled
off.
off of my back. Yeah.
Shirt's now
What are
off.
you gonna do?
Shirt is ripped off by a bouncer. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm home. But everybody gets home, and the AC discussion was the most relatable thing that I've ever heard. When you get in a hotel room, what's your first move?
My first move,
Yeah,
turn the AC all the way the fuck down.
there you go. Yep.
Yep.
Just making sure. That's yeah.
And then I
Me-
unpack. I'm a big unpacker when I get in hotel rooms, though.
I don't unpack into the drawers, but I weirdly enough, like it's the one place where I need to feel like I'm super organized, because from baseball, I have a weird relationship from living in hotel rooms for so long
Yeah.
that if they're messy, it immediately impacts my mental health, because I'm already living out of a suitcase in this little box. And like,
Yep.
if my room's shitty, then I feel shitty. So like when I was in California, like everything is like prim and proper, like folded nicely. It
Mhm.
has to be organized or I feel like I'm losing my shit. But AC is extremely important. So I'm glad we talked about the important things in this house. That was really nice. Now, Kyle and Amanda. Once again, Kyle gets in bed, just setting the tone. We don't have to talk about this one. Says goodnight to Amanda. Amanda, cold shoulder. Kyle, what the fuck?
Well, guess fuck me.
Yeah, fuck me, right? Yeah, okay. Now let's get to the morning of the 4th. There's 200 people coming for this party, which I love that. Love a big rager at the house. And we get to meet Ben. Ben is a model / entrepreneur. I believe both of those things. He's from Melbourne, which I love that. That means I get to do an Aussie accent this season. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know you guys are excited for it. I know all my Aussie fans are excited for it. So
What about
buckle up.
me? Am I excited for it?
No, you're probably miserable, mate.
Yeah,
but
no. Yeah, I
Okay.
hate it.
I don't care. But they met in Italy last year when they were at that wedding, and they're very close. And the first thing that I noticed and felt, call me crazy, is the chemistry between Benjamin and Amanda. Did you feel this?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it. I don't know if it's something I want to talk about, because it's still
No, I know. I agree. It's still icky
Yeah,
because they're married.
yeah.
I get it. I get it.
not the
But
best. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously some serious chemistry here. I think there was another. Oh, it was with Andrea when they were talking about going to Italy with Andrea. There was a similar chemistry between Amanda and Andrea, where it
Mhm.
seems like when they go, and I think it was Italy again for a wedding. Kyle and Amanda were
I
out
think
there.
it was
Kyle's
not. It wasn't Andrea's wedding. They went to
It
another
wasn't
one that
Andrea's
Andrea was
wedding.
at. Right?
Correct.
He was
Yeah, this
with
was a
them,
couple
but
years
not
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Andrea, it seems like we get these glimpses of Amanda, and not that we're watching this wedding or it's not even on film, but we get this like gateway into what she's like when she's traveling, what she's like when she's not really worried about what Kyle's doing. And it seems to grow every time that we get a story like this. So the two of them being over in Italy, while Kyle's walking around with a fucking speaker playing music for people, just trying to be the center of attention, she's over there having a good time. She's going skinny dipping, and Ben's going skinny dipping, and everybody's having a great time. So yeah, we got to see each other's naked bodies. That's pretty fucking cool. But we're married, so it's not that cool. It's a little weird, but at the same time, we had a great time, and it just kind of shows that again, Amanda can be fun, which Kyle says she's not fun. And we don't get to see Amanda be fun because she's weighed down by this marriage. That's really the only takeaway that I'm taking.
That honestly, that's so interesting. That's the first thing I thought of too, was clips that we got last year of her in Italy. And then thinking about this moment, it's like, yeah, like it's in there. Like the fun's in there. Fun Amanda's in there somewhere. I think that it's just so clouded over by this marriage. So I'm very curious what In the City is going to look like. Not this season. Like when we get far enough removed from their split is when I'm really curious about what Amanda and her on-screen personality is going to be like.
Yeah.
Not in the next like year and a half, just because it's going to be rough. But after that, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Amanda was on Watch What Happens Live talking about exactly when they split or exactly when they were separated. I mean, we already called this. She was gaslighting us. He was gaslighting us about when they actually did it because there was rumors of them living separately. Then they were on TikTok for like weeks after that, proving that they lived together or whatever. She says on Watch What Happens Live that it was around October. I imagined by the end of the summer it was coming to a head, and they probably got back from Summer House and were like, yeah, we need to figure this whole thing out. So I do actually think by the start of In the City, they're living separately, and that's going to be the big thing. So that'll be interesting to watch.
I could see them going back after the weekends in the Hamptons and her maybe staying a night or two at like Sierra's or something before going, or like Paige's house. Especially if Paige is traveling, like maybe she's just camping out in her apartment or something. But I agree with you. I think the timeline is not valid, but it doesn't really matter. Now, this was like a big sign of I'm excited for Carl this season because we obviously watched last year that super awkward conversation between him and Ciara. Ciara handled it like a champ. And Carl, like, pretty much said he had a crush on her. And it wasn't like an awful scene by any means. It was just like kind of uncomfortable. We get a somewhat of a revisit to that this year, but the vibe is so much different. You have a confident Carl. It doesn't come off as like, that's kind of cringy. Yeah. Just comes off as like playful banter. Like, they do seem like they've become really good friends. Like they do seem like they have a good rapport together. He cracks a couple of jokes like, Ciara, like one of these days. I'm like, that was actually funny. That wasn't weird. That was funny.
Yeah.
Like
it didn't come across. And like, I don't even think that last year when they were talking about it, Ciara's reaction was the reason why it was creepy, because I think that she was like a little blown away, a little taken aback by Carl kind of like confessing his love for her. But he was going about it so bizarrely.
Yeah, it was strange.
Where is this coming from? This is out of left field. So I do wonder if we would have received this conversation the same way if last year didn't happen, or if that last year conversation kind of ripped the Band-Aid off and it's like, well, let's see how this one goes. And it's a lot better. Like maybe it wasn't a good conversation. Maybe it wasn't really that fun and lighthearted,
but
it was just so much better than it was last year that we're like, oh, that was actually kind of nice. I kind of like that one. It could be. We'll never know. We'll definitely never know. But again, it just kind of shows you where Carl is. Like, yeah, he's still in there. He's still kind of the same person. He's still gonna, in a weird way, confess his love to Ciara and how he wishes that maybe the two of them could be together. But he's doing it in a much better way, where it's like he's not gonna like completely run away if she says no. It's more just like, I'm just floating the idea back out there. If you ever need somebody to just kind of talk to, come on over to Soft Bar.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this out there. You can send it right back. You can send it right back. But they also are able to now really dive into some other things going on in the house. And we haven't seen this out of Carl in a minute, where he's talking about Kyle, he's talking about Amanda. And I actually respect it a lot because he's saying how he feels. He's like, I just don't think he's aligned with what should be going on in his life. Like he should be planning for his future. He should be living to fix his marriage. And he's doing the exact opposite with this whole DJ thing. And he misses spending time with him. So if Carl misses spending quality time with him, like I think Carl is self-aware and sober enough to look at that and be like, well, if I'm feeling this way, like I can't imagine what Amanda's feeling. And then
Yeah,
Ciara, like, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say Carl is probably the best barometer that we're going to have. A
Sure.
combination of Carl and Ciara is going to get us the full, not that we necessarily need this actually, because I think we can figure out the truth for ourselves, but it's going to be able to at least put some sort of vibes on it. It's going to be able to put like, give us some sort of, I don't really know how to put it, but it's going to tell us what the temperature reading is, if you want
Yeah.
to put it that way.
On both
Like, how
sides.
far gone are we? Because we can tell we've seen Kyle and Amanda kind of spit, spat, go back and forth. They have their issues during the summer, or Kyle stays out too late, whatever it might be. But if we're listening to Kyle or to Carl and Amanda discuss where individually the two of them are, Carl's over here saying, I don't really get to talk to Kyle much. You know, I don't work with him anymore. He is traveling a ton. I kind of miss my time sitting with him, but I don't really like the vibes of what's going on. Whereas Ciara is getting to talk to Amanda because that's where Amanda's going. Amanda's going to her and Paige probably for the most part, talking about all of this. So we're going to be able to find somewhere in the middle where it's like, oh shit, like they really are just completely like really far apart, maybe even further apart than we even think.
Right. And, you know, Ciara brings up another moment of like 4 or 5 months ago, or no, Carl does. 4 or 5 months ago, Kyle did a gig at Penn State on like a Thursday,
Yeah.
which, you know, going back to him talking to himself in his bedroom, like, I thought we would reconnect. It's like, you're going to Penn State on Thursday nights. Like,
Yeah.
that's where we're at, dude. But
Yeah.
anyway, I love bros supporting bros. You guys know that. It's one of my favorite things. So watching KJ open up about his anxiety, which he did a little bit earlier in the episode as well as confessional, which I appreciate that. Love a vulnerable bro. And I love Wes being like, do you want me to check on you? Like when you're going, he's like, brother, I would love that. Like that would mean the world
Yep.
to me. And Wes like, I got you, dude. I'm like, yes, guys. Fuck yeah. I
Yeah,
love
I mean,
this
like
shit.
that's a huge thing, especially going into a shared house, being on TV. You don't know how you're actually going to react to it, how your body's going to react to it. Are you going to be in your head the whole time? West being a bro, sometimes you look at a friend and you're like, yeah, you're going to be fine. You're going to handle it great. I don't really need to check on you. But if you're opening up to me about your anxiety and you're a little worried about a couple things here and there, I've been here. This is my third season. I know
Yeah,
what I'm
brother.
doing. Also, I know you. You can talk to me about a couple of things and I'll try to ease you back down.
Sound good? Yeah.
Cool.
Hug it out. Fucking right. Bro
Great.
hug. Bam. Love that shit. Awesome. But we also find out that Ben was the bachelor, one of 3
Mhm.
bachelors. Do they always do that in Australia?
have
Don't
no
they do
idea.
that in some other countries where it's like 2 or 3 bachelors at a time, or they mix it up? I don't know. But
The
he
only
was
one that I know of was wasn't it like the Golden Bachelor that they did that for? Over
oh,
here, they had
that was
3
when they
dudes.
yeah. No, that's what we wanted them to do.
No, they definitely did something along those lines where they had 3 bachelors, but they were different ages, and they
Oh,
were
they
able to
walked
kinda,
in
like
and they flirted around, and then didn't the ladies have to pick one? We
yeah,
watched
something
that.
like that. Yeah, we watched that.
Something
I don't
what did we
remember.
watch? I forget.
Who the
We
hell
watch a lot
knows,
of
man?
shows.
We
Yeah, it's
do.
hard to keep track, guys, sorry. But his attitude towards it made me really like Ben so far, because he's like, 1, he's like, "Please don't watch it." 2,
Yeah.
he's like, I legitimately had to be told by producers to open up or everyone's gonna think I was an asshole, like the entire country of Australia. It's like, that was alarming. I liked his joking about it. I think that he seems like he's a normal dude. So, like, I'm excited to see more of Ben, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But let's go to the party. And it's a county fair, which is a great setup. Love that idea. And the first thing I thought with the petting zoo was the same thing that Ciara thought. I'm like, oh, this is a move. This is West trying to make peace early on. I actually like that move. And you got Daffy walking around. Daffy is the donkey, very
Mhm.
cute Daffy. And I one knock on Carl, and at least he's self-aware about it. He's training for the New York City Marathon. And as everybody knows, if you're running the New York City Marathon, it becomes your entire personality. And the first line at the party, he's flirting with some girls. He's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" Like, "We're good. How are you?" It's like, "Well, I ran 8 miles this morning, so I'm doing well.
Yeah,
Doing real
they'll figure it
well."
out. Yeah, we're gonna handle Carl with some kid gloves for a bit
Yeah.
here.
which
He's
is
doing
fine.
so well in so many different areas. It's a cliche. You're running the New York City Marathon, you're running the Boston Marathon, whatever it is. You're going to make it your entire personality. It's
Yep.
okay. It happens to everybody. I'm not going to knock you for it.
No, it was just funny. And he gets a big W with the newbies because they're hitting that hammer. I don't even know what that's called. You whack the thing and the bell, the
It's the
meter,
strength test.
the strength test. Okay.
Yeah.
And the newbies are hitting it. It's not going anywhere. It keeps getting a sad sack. Did you see that? Which
Yeah.
I felt bad. And then Carl's like, I'll try it. Ding, and gets it stuck. And they're both like,
The
whoa,
strongest man ever.
my God, are you the
Like a
Incredible
fucking
Hulk?
cartoon where like the top bell just comes blowing off into the fucking stratosphere.
Explodes.
Yeah.
No, it was really funny. But Jesse is continuing to question Ciara about the West thing. And I understand that actually. I think he's
Yeah,
trying to
this
get a
one's normal.
gauge. Yeah, like where the summer's gonna be. Like, are we moving on from that yet? Like, where are we at? And I think Ciara, like you said, her mindset is totally normal on this whole thing. It's like, look, I got burned pretty bad. I am 100% open to exploring a friendship with this guy. No, it's not the same tension that I had last year. Just going to see where it goes. But as we
Yeah.
know with Ciara, she takes note of the little things. Like the little things go a long way with her. So things like the petting zoo and West, being normal around her, I think is going to be the biggest positive for their relationship because you don't have that weird, like, are we good? Are we not good? And he's trying to
Yeah.
figure out where he stands. So I get the checking in about that. And again, she is open to this friendship. So that's all we need, at least early on in the summer. And I would be remiss not to mention Kyle. And this is another one of his things is like he just talks about him and Amanda's shit to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't know who these people are,
They
but
could
when
be
he's
friends, I
cornering
guess.
people, they probably are friends, but he's cornering people talking about him and Amanda's relationship and like how he feels like he's on the outs. And it's just really tough, like being here. I just once again thought that we would reconnect. I thought that we'd get closer and try to figure some things out, but it's just really tough, man. It really wears me down. And obviously, people who I don't really understand this part of it because a lot of this is on TV that you can watch. So, like, if your buddy's on a reality TV show and they talk about their marriage a lot, you would know what's going on and you've
Right.
seen this before. So, you would probably understand right away, like, dude, what are you trying to get from us? I don't get that. So maybe they're not that close. Maybe they are just some random bystanders that are just happy to be on TV. Like, hey,
I mean, we've
we
seen
signed the
that.
waiver. Yeah, like we signed the waiver. We want to get our faces out there. So yeah, we'll lend Kyle a helping hand. We'll lend him a shoulder to cry on, even though we know he's full of shit. But like, we're just going around the party. Everybody's having a good time, and then you get to Kyle, and he's just completely drained about his relationship. Like, go have fun. Like,
Dude.
you've become what you hate at this point. Summer's
Exactly.
supposed to be fun. Kyle, not fun. That's the problem.
Not a good time. Not a
No.
good time. But we get a juxtaposed conversation, and it's about the same topic. Again, Kyle and Amanda. You get Amanda and Ciara talking. They do a little FaceTime with Lindsay, which I was happy to see her. I'm ready for her to
Oh,
come
yeah.
back into the fold. It'll be nice when she drops in. I'm curious if she's going to start getting FOMO and if we're going to see more of her after this. Like, I could see that happening.
That's a lot different than like her being off the show randomly because she wanted to move on to other ventures. If she got FOMO, yeah, we would see her a lot. She's got a baby at home, and
Yeah, I know.
we still don't really know. I still suspect that her and Turner are like co-parenting, so it's probably a lot different. I don't think there's a lot going on there in terms of like romance or relationship,
No,
but
I think they're done, right?
still, yeah, I think they are pretty much done in co-parenting. But I mean, at this point, Gemma's what, like a year,
What?
close to a year, maybe
Yeah.
there.
Well, no, because
So
last summer at this
she
time
announced her
she was
pregnancy.
announcing, and then she had the baby at the end of the
Oh yeah,
summer.
so Gemma's probably like 8 months old at this point, or
somewhere
like
in there,
7
yeah.
months old. So yeah, I mean, she can't just drop everything and go to the summer house. I'm sure we'll probably see. I don't think she wants Gemma on TV though, so that's another caveat in here.
I don't think
I
we
don't
need
know.
a baby in the summer house for the baby's
I mean,
sake.
I wouldn't mind having a baby in the summer house just for like a day, like come over
Oh,
for the
no,
day,
like a
everybody
stop
gets to
by?
meet the baby.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's a little bit easier said than done, especially going to the Hamptons in the summer. But I do think she will get FOMO. I think that she'll be there as much as humanly possible, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be that much at all. We
No,
need to lower our expectations on what
I
we're going
know.
to see from her.
It's just she had such a good season last year. I'm ready for her to be back on the show again. But and I figured this would happen, but after the FaceTime, Amanda immediately was like, wow, like that baby just really changed her life. Like she seems like she's just so happy in such a great
Yeah.
place. And the baby conversation comes up again. Amanda's like, yeah, eventually. But we heard her talk last year about finally being in a place where she feels like she's figuring out who she is and finding herself. So now's not the right time. Again, if their marriage were in a different place, this would 100% be the right time. That's, I believe, the only reason that it's not. But they're talking about Kyle. And meanwhile, Carl and Kyle are talking. And I love that Carl's not really pulling punches, but he's going about it in a supportive but tough way, because he's like,
Yeah.
like this has to be hard for Kyle to hear. Amanda seems so good overall. Like she seems great, but it feels like you guys are drifting. And for Kyle to hear she seems great, and then all of Kyle's interactions with her being not great, has to be like, fuck. Well, I know
But
what the
that's
problem is.
like, yeah, for a normal person,
Yeah.
absolutely that would be a reaction. But in his mind, it's probably she is miserable. She's just putting on for other people. Like, I would be so surprised if that wasn't his reaction. But in reality, it's like, no, she's still finding herself. Like, that's what we've been doing for Amanda for her arc for the last like 3 years, is figuring out what she wants to do, getting better, getting more comfortable with her life. And now I feel like she's at a point individually where she's in a good place. But in the marriage, she's not in a good place. So when you guys are together, she's miserable. When she's by herself and talking to her friends, her comfort places, she's great and she's never been better. So, yes, a normal person would hear that and be like, fuck, our marriage is completely ruined. There's nothing we can do. She's clearly happy with other people. This is pretty much over. But Kyle probably hears, no, no, no. She's actually miserable in life. Like she makes my life miserable. So she's just putting on a front for everybody else.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Carl says something that I was astounded by, because Kyle is like, look, man, where I'm happy is showing people a good time and pressing play. Yeah, because you're getting attention. I was like, oh,
Uh huh.
fuck yeah, Carl. Like,
Yep.
by the way, spot on, sir. And hell yeah, dude. And I like scenes from later this season. We obviously see Carl, a scene that we have seen in the past, Carl going after Kyle, and then Carl legit going after Kyle to fuck him up, which I think Carl would beat the shit out of him. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Carl being in such a good place is going to bode well for Kyle. I think
No.
he's going to hold a mirror up to him all summer and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And I think that's what's going to eventually set Kyle off, because he's used to, sweet and not submissive, but agreeable Carl, where Carl will be like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think you're doing a little too much, but look, dude, I love you. Like, I'm here. Like, you're getting a
Yeah.
Carl
I
now
mean,
that's,
if you look at the allegiances of the house right now, nobody's really on Kyle's side. I mean, Carl wants to connect with Kyle. And at the end of the day, he's going to connect with Kyle. It's just going to be a lot of trials and tribulations of, you need to understand what you're doing and how you're doing it before we can actually have that conversation. And those ebbs and flows are going to result in the fight that we see a little bit later. But at the end of the day, Carl does want what's best for Kyle. He
yes.
wants to make sure that he's in a good place. He just needs to realize what you're doing is fucked up. If you go through everybody else in the house, leave the newbies out of it, everybody else is on Amanda's side.
Yep.
Like no one's on Kyle's side. So if Carl's going to be that last straw who's clearly taking Amanda's side, that's going to set Kyle off. So that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, like it's not malicious. He's gonna make sure that Kyle knows like what everyone else is seeing. And
Yeah.
I think Kyle needs that.
Yeah.
And to say again, Carl asked, do you think she's happy? I don't know what's gonna make her happy, but I don't know if I could do this. You do know what's gonna make her happy. She said it. We know it. Like this is again where he loses any kind of support from anybody, because just
Yeah.
own these things. Stop dancing around it. And I think this is a much different scenario. I'm still gonna look at you as the problem, but at the same time, at least there's some self-awareness involved. That's where I get so frustrated with this whole thing. But it's interesting that Amanda acknowledges, because I always wonder, what it's like and what it feels like for these two specifically. This is one of the most talked about relationships on all of Bravo. Like, it is always being discussed. There's always new rumors, new pictures. Are they living together? This, that, the other. We've been listening to this shit since this show started, right?
Yeah.
So to hear Amanda acknowledge the internet and be like, everyone's rooting for us to get divorced. And now I'm at a point where, are these my thoughts or are these the internet's thoughts? And I think you can just lump those together. Like, I don't think that you were influenced by the internet's comments, but I do think that what that has done is taken those deep thoughts that she's having, that she's trying to suppress and push back, and it's forcing them to the forefront of, no, you're reading this from other people, but these are your thoughts too. And I think that's where we're finally landing.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what we have to look forward to pretty much this whole season. And again, not knowing going into most of these seasons that they actually are separated has been the downfall of all of this.
Yeah.
Knowing that they are separated going into the season is a lot different because we finally do. I feel bad calling it a payoff, but it is. And we've endured this season after season after season, watching this and questioning so many different things. But going into the season, it's like, okay, no, we do know that there is a payoff at the end of all of this. So this has a very different feel to it.
And the episode ends with a little pie fight and then some swimming. And in the swimming moment, Amanda derobes. She's wearing something, right? Like it's some
She's
sort
got a
of bra
yeah,
and
yeah,
panties
bra and
on.
underwear on. Yeah.
And she jumps into the pool. It's nothing that we haven't seen on this show before, nothing crazy. We've watched Kyle jump into the pool ass naked. We've seen his balls frequently. We've seen his ass. He got, like, remember the costume party last year and he just wore like a little cowboy hat over his dick? So this is ludicrous to me, at least. And like, maybe other people disagree, but the way that he reacts when she gets out of the pool is nuts. It's like, dude, come on. Like, it's not that serious. She wasn't like running around the party completely naked. She jumped in the pool with her friends, with your friends, with underwear on. Like, was it a little revealing? Yeah. Could you probably see through it? Yeah, because they blurred everything out. But like,
everybody's gone. Everybody left. Like, they kicked all of the randos out of there. They're all having a good time. And again, that's why I said that Kyle is now becoming the thing that he hates the most. Amanda is fun. Summer's
she's
supposed
having
to be
fun.
This is a fun time. Like, if you like, not that it's not a normal situation where we can say like, it would go a long way if you were just cool about this and just accepted it. But like, you can't speak up in this moment. You can't get pissed off in this moment. And for him to turn it on at the very end and like give her a towel and say, well, you know, I would have liked to have known that you were going to do that. Like,
would have been fun if you told me.
Like, what are you fucking talking about? She jumped in her underwear
to give you her blessing. Like, what do you want?
It would be, and I'm not going to say that I'd be on Kyle's side if she just stripped down completely naked and jumped in. Like, yeah, I think you would have a leg to stand on. I think you would be like, all right, like no one else was naked jumping in there. It's not like a big bonding moment where people were skinny dipping and you decided to do it as well. And then all of a sudden you were the only one who was naked. Like, yeah, I would have umbrage with that. Fine, sure. She's in her fucking underwear, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's not the end of the fucking world. And then Jesse tries to butt in and he's like, dude, Kyle, you can jump in and skinny dip whenever you want to. Jesse, you're the worst fucking mediator that could exist in this. Like, shut up. Leave. Like, I like, enough. Like, this whole thing just needs to fucking end. I don't want to, as much as I don't want to do this all season, again, we know what happens, so it's okay. But it's going to be tough to watch at times. And this is one of those moments where it's really tough to watch.
Yeah. And just the comments from people around them, like, tell you everything you need to know. Like, Ciara's like, Kyle, come on, like, get naked and jump in the pool with her. Like, no one else is taking this seriously except for you. No. And now you look like a big stick in the mud. And the big issue that you have constantly had with Amanda, other than her quote unquote not supporting you, duh, so dumb. But the other issue you have is that you claim she's not fun. Now she's having fun, and this is not the first time that we've seen this kind of reaction when she's having fun and letting loose. When she does, she gets reprimanded. So why the fuck would she try to have fun, dude? Like, it's just dumb. It's counterproductive. It's counterintuitive, and it's annoying. And I agree. Like, I know we get the payoff, quote unquote, this season, so it's a little easier to discuss than it has been in the past. but these moments will never be easy to discuss. It's just like, what
Yeah.
are we doing? Like, it's so
Yeah.
dumb. And
Well, let's hop into some questions here. First one up here from Jamie Gibbs. Did anyone else reflexively shout "Ew, no" when Kyle mentioned his DJ table right away? Yeah,
we
10
did.
seconds into the episode. It's crazy.
Yep. That I texted Shooter as soon as I saw that. I was 10 seconds into the episode and I
Yeah.
texted him one DJ reference already. Mrs. Brad Pearson, does Kyle actually think anyone feels bad for him? I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think he
know.
does. I think he does.
Crazy.
From Georgia H. Fuller, are you ready for the Kyle defenders to ignore how he's treated her for years because she's a little mean? I don't really think that we're going to get that. I
I
don't
don't
think Kyle
either.
really has defenders mostly. I mean, there's going to be some people on there. I would stop you before you fall for this because there's going to be rage baiters out there. I
Sure.
really don't think that people genuinely are going to feel bad for him or try to defend him when Amanda's being a little mean because of all of his behavior from the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. No, I think, like you said, there's definitely going to be some rage bait out there. So let's all do our best to not fall for that. But I would imagine the overwhelming support this season will be for Amanda. So, yeah, from Petra Van, how many times have we seen Kyle's naked ass and he was mad at Amanda? Crazy. Agreed.
Yep, absolutely. From Christine D. Philippus, it's sad watching Amanda and Kyle's marriage falling apart before our eyes. I see.
We've been
Maybe
watching it
I'm
for
wrong.
years.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I do not feel sadness watching this. I actually feel some sort of like
Relief.
levity. Like, yeah, I'm just like, okay, we're good. Like, we know that it's over. It's okay. This is kind of what we've been calling for. Like, look, 3 seasons ago, we were saying Kyle figure it out. Amanda kind of figure it out. Amanda's been figuring it out for herself. That's kind of the track that we've been on. If Kyle could figure it out and they could come back together, nobody would be like, oh, fuck, I really thought they were going to get divorced. That would have been the best call. Yeah, people like to meddle in relationships, but this has been happening for so long that it's almost like, I don't know, I'm just kind of impervious to it.
And it's also quite clearly what's best for the both of them.
Yeah.
So if you're like a big fan of Amanda, which a lot of us are,
Mm-hmm.
this is what she needs to be able to move on and be happy in her life. So, like, is it sad on some degree because there's a marriage falling apart? Sure, but it's not, the end result is not sad. So
Yeah,
I don't.
exactly.
I'm with you. Let's see. Do a couple more.
From Lorraine Promo, Jesse is still creepy. That is all. I'm giving Jesse a chance here. All right. Because I
know
just,
you are.
mostly for my own well being, I just don't want to just be annoyed by him every time he's on the screen like I was last year. I don't think he did anything creepy this episode. I do think that he has a genuine friendship with Ciara. If he's not hitting on Ciara and being weird and crossing a boundary, I'm okay. If he's not hitting on any of the newbies and trying to create a relationship in the house, I'm okay. Everything else, I'll be all right with.
Yeah, I'm not as turned off by him this season as I have been. From Haley. Oh, ugh, Kyle. Yeah.
From Zoe Kudlapole, if this is how the season starts for Kai Manda, at least there's some resolution at the end of
Yeah,
it.
so you get it.
Exactly. Yeah, you understand how we're going to look at this.
You get it. That's the way to look at it, everybody.
Yep. Looks like everything else is just reactionary to Kyle. I'm going to put a PSA out there for everybody. When I put questions up and I use a funny picture, do your best to still have a question about the episode. Don't just react to the funny picture. Or I'm going to stop using funny pictures. I'm just going to use a normal template. I'm going to use a normal template and I'm just going to say, what are your thoughts about Summer House? That's what I'm going to start doing. You guys don't get funny pictures anymore.
Your pictures are too silly goofy and everyone wants to comment on them. So you're doing too good of a job, dude. But yeah, so I don't know. It looks like we're in for a great summer. I'm really excited to see where this season goes. And it looks like we have a cast that's ready to have a fun summer minus one person. So what more could you ask for?
That's okay.
And we needed this right now because it's cold as shit up here. And this warms me up a little bit.
See, I have the opposite reaction to that. When I get to watch, like we've been watching like Beverly Hills or VPR or any of those shows that take place in a warm weather location, I get angry. I get upset.
This is the worst time. This is the only time of the year that I question why I live in Philly. This is it. And after this, I'm good.
Yeah, and like they're in New York and they're just having a great time in the summer talking about how hot it is. It just pisses me off.
Yeah, bastards. But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, bros are out of here. And if you're taking note, I didn't fuck up the intro nor the outro.
Good job.